Probably don't remember it as much as I do. Britney Spears' debut album had just come out. What else? So we had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire blowing up on TV. And a musical that people really, really loved came back to Broadway for its first revival. And I'm talking about You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. The superstar cast, you guys, they're here tonight. I'm so excited to bring them out. So let's take them one by one. First we had, as Snoopy, Mr. Roger Bart. You know what his line is, it's B.D. Wong, everyone. Oh, he's got a... The director of this crazy crew, Mr. Michael Mayer. Here, you know him, you've seen him, Mr. Anthony Rapp playing Charlie Brown. And as Lucy, we had Ilana Levine. And then our last guest, she did pretty well for herself. Her name is Kristin Chenoweth. You guys were all together?
20 years ago, yeah.
20 years? It's been 20 years since you've
We've all been together, yeah. I mean, we've had interactions and
Stanley
stuff.
was with us then too.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it on?
No.
It's not on.
Yeah, it's on?
Yeah, Stanley was with us that night.
All right, yeah. So 20 years ago, that was it. And have you kept in touch with each other?
Yes, pretty much.
Through text chains or?
Yes, we are all, this is for real. We are madly in love with each other. And that was one of the most special shows, I think we can all say that. And no matter what we have gone on to do, this is our heart. This show is our heart, for sure.
This is my sister and brothers.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Can you tell me about getting cast in the show, what that process was like?
I don't know this answer to these questions. I'm really curious.
I could answer that.
Yeah,
probably.
Yes.
Everyone here, I would say everyone auditioned, which is a rare thing now because you're always offering, especially for a revival. You guys know you can't really do a revival of a play or a musical without like a big star in it anymore, like a movie or TV thing. But I think you auditioned, you sent your tape.
Because I was in London doing Rent.
You were doing Rent in London. This was your next show after Rent, right? Yeah, so we got him when he was hot.
He's still pretty hot.
Yeah, he's a hot again. But that was, everyone else auditioned for their roles except for Kristin. But you didn't audition for this role, because I made this role up for you.
He told me that I would be auditioning for a role that he couldn't tell me what it was yet.
It was, well, in the original it was called Patty, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a generic girl. It was like Violet and not even Peppermint Patty. It wasn't
Anybody
that
who wasn't
interesting.
Lucy.
It was all the girls who weren't Lucy except for Peppermint Patty. And when Kristin came in, it was after when she came in, I had this idea of, wow, she could be Sally Brown, Charlie Brown's sister, which is a great, great character. And so with a lot of machinations with Charles Schulz, we arranged for that to happen.
And what did everyone sing for
And
that?
everyone else, okay, what did you, I think everyone sang from the show, right?
I brought a giant blanket in a duffel bag.
That's right. It was amazing.
I sang I Want It All, Veruca's song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the first time I went in, because I had never auditioned for a musical before, and it was the only song I knew by heart. it was right for Veruca and Lucy are the same person, actually. But then I had to come back and sing a song from the show, and I was like, I'm not going back. And then someone was like, go back. And I did. Thank you.
I'm really glad.
Roger,
Roger, what did you sing?
I don't remember. I know I
Veruca.
brought in a stick from outside.
Yes.
I think Kristin sang Taylor Belocte.
I did. How did you remember?
I think I heard it through the door.
Oh my God! That's so
You know, these little overalls. Cute little overalls. So what did you sing initially? Do you remember?
I sang, No, they can't take that away from me.
I sang the kite. I mean, I sang the kite on the video, yeah.
Were you all familiar with the show? Because it's such a staple.
I had done the show in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you in the same
And I was Linus in the Hype in that film.
That's why you were off book so
that's why we got
quickly.
right.
The rest of us struggled.
I was Schroeder in college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember sitting next to my mom's record player with the original record and looking at the pictures, like the Dayglow set stuff, and yeah, loving listening to it. Especially Peter Rapp. I listened to the Poker Part over and over and over again.
I love that song so much.
And I used to sing the kite sometimes. Like there was a really wonderful organization in the 80s and 90s here in New York called Hearts and Voices that would go into AIDS wards, and performers would sing for patients, long-term patients there. And that was there was a really good friend of mine who was a music director, and that was a song that I sang with him sometimes in Hearts and Voices. So it had a place in my heart for sure.
So, Bebe, it was easy for you to find your character because you had played him before. But tell me everyone else about finding these characters. What was it? Was there a moment that kind of, oh, I get it now? Or were there certain things that you knew right from the get-go? Yeah, sure. Go on.
I would say that, and I'm not being humble, but I wasn't someone who had done a musical before, and I think I got this part because there was a real connection between me and Lucy, in that I didn't ever really see Lucy as a bossy person. I saw Lucy as someone who just wanted to help.
That's good.
And if everyone would listen to Lucy, I swear, politically, emotionally, socially, the entire world would just be better.
Does the cast agree? We all agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember there would be a lot of moms at the stage door who would kind of like push their daughters, up to me and go, oh, she's a Lucy. And I'd be like, I would just say to every one of those little girls, I think what your mom or dad means is you're someone who's not afraid to share what you think about something. And I would really try to turn it around into a very empowering thing.
Lucy for president.
Yes. But the thing that happened when Michael chose to make Sally, Kristin Sally's, now there were two sets of siblings in this show,
Yeah.
which was a brand new thing and kind of an amazing concept in terms of how these different siblings and families operated. And I thought that was like an incredible thing that we didn't even think about at the time so much, but when people talk to me about it, it's sort of a wonderful, it's already about family in the most pure, beautiful way, but that even made it kind of more in some way. Yeah. Anyway, this cast, I would just say very quickly, I think we all would be every night backstage watching each other's scenes all the time. Like there was no one who was in their dressing room. We did the show for a long time. We would do it for each other. We would try to make each other laugh. And then when Michael was in the audience, his laugh was so original that you'd be like, okay, Michael's out there, man. Bring your A game. Yeah.
I just went to watch the show again at the library just to prepare for this because I wanted to see it again. It's there. You guys can all go see it. And it was filled with so much joy, and you guys are having the time of your lives doing the show. It seemed like it was fun nonstop.
I just want to say the best part about playing Sally was the A-line dresses and being able to eat whatever I wanted to eat.
I think that was
did look very comfortable, I will say that.
Speaking of having fun, Roger Bart as Snoopy, so in Supper Time, you know, the end of Act 2 is one of the big penultimate number, really, which he destroyed every night in the most amazing way. But my job was to come on stage and be a buzzkill. I had to like scream and yell at him to stop, and he would do whatever he could to make me laugh. But it was perfectly appropriate because that's exactly what Snoopy would do. And I mostly held it together, but there were times when I couldn't because he was ridiculously hilarious.
How did you find Snoopy? Because, I mean, it's not easy to play a dog, obviously.
You know, the major connection was that I love food.
That'll do it.
The second thing that was the hardest thing for me is probably a lot of you who grew up with the cartoons can imagine, is that I always, as a lover of Harpo Marx and Buster Keaton, had a very difficult time when I got the script and said, wait a minute, he talks? So I actually asked Michael, I pulled him aside very early on and said, I have an idea, what if you cut everything I say? And literally just, I'll sing, but the rest of it I'll just like do takes. And he was like, no. And so it really was, and the thing that was connected me to the part was, it can be summed up in a couple of lines of his in a song that, like myself, I think that I am a mixture of grateful for the roof over my head and inclined to sometimes bite people.
That's nice. You know, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown ran on Broadway for 149 performances and 14 previews at the Ambassador Theater. Tell me, any flubs throughout those 149 performances? Any mistakes that you made?
No, never. It's
Never.
crazy.
Perfect.
Not a one.
It's letter perfect.
Yeah.
I think we were probably the only show that ever did 3 shows in one day.
Yeah, there was not Radio City, there was not the Rockettes, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
11 a.m.s.
yeah, we did. You know, there were all sorts of things that our producers. You know, it was when we came to New York. It was there was a way we were trying to say, you know, we're not just a kids show. It is certainly wonderful for children, but it's also really more sophisticated than that too. But it was hard to find an audience at that time, and so one of the things they tried was really early matinees. So we did 11 a.m.
But you guys didn't you have like 3 days off or
Yeah,
something?
we worked 1 day a week.
We had 2 days off.
No, you had 3.
This wasn't a flub on stage, but
Because you had like
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off.
Yeah.
2 on Thursday,
Thursday,
1 on Friday.
3 on
Saturday,
Saturday,
2
2
on
on
Sunday.
We were
It
traveling.
was crazy.
We were out of the country. We'd come back on Wednesday morning. Can I just say one thing, though, about BD and Roger and all of the people around me? When you ask, like, how did he come up with Snoopy, we did many cities before we came to Broadway. In every single, from Detroit to Skokie to Wilmington, Roger Bart was in the parking lot of every single hotel or theater.
Peeing.
Like a dog. No, like...
I had to mark the city.
Figuring out how to refine and make his Snoopy like it was vaudeville, but it was like meticulous. And that blanket, the blanket dance that BD did, I think you still have that blanket, don't you? You still have
Still have
it.
the blanket.
we all had to do that dance.
But BD like just...
We all.
You have to do it, Michael.
Jerry Mitchell had this idea that everyone would do the
It was a
blanket
dream.
dance. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Wow. So you all had to learn it.
We really workshopped it. We got to all go through all the old. We had a bunch of the old books in the rehearsal room, and we would take the books home and we'd look through and we'd find really great strips. And it didn't have to just be for our characters; it could be anybody.
Yeah, I definitely looked at the strips and because I was doing it in the car, and I would try one out in Skokie, and I would think, this is gonna kill, this is gonna kill, and it would tank. And then the ones I thought, well, maybe, and then it would kill, you know what I mean? It just seemed
And Michael has a 3-try rule. You get 3 chances to get your laugh, and if you're not, you don't get it, it's cut.
Sometimes for fun, I would sabotage the third one completely.
And there were so many laughs that we didn't know were in there.
Yeah.
And then you have an audience who thinks like the great laugh is, I want to get a closer look, right? Like,
Right.
comment. Remember that day?
And when BT would suck his thumb and said, I think I'm losing my flavor.
Yes.
And like people would go like, I mean it's funny, but can you do it now?
They want you to do it.
Just if you could say it. They want you to say it.
I think I'm losing my flavor.
You know, there's somebody else who's not here with us today who plays Schroeder, Stanley Wayne Mathis. Tell me a little bit about working with him.
He's a great baker. So he would bake like, yeah. So he would come in and bake like huge trays of cookies and muffins.
But he wouldn't eat it.
He wanted it out of the house. He wanted to bake it, bring it to the theater, and then he'd be like,
Bakers are the best people. They're givers. They're givers. Cooks eat. Bakers do.
He's a beautiful performer. And he sings like a dream. He's got a huge heart.
And when we had to do My New Philosophy, we were creating that, and he was just like, I'm here for you. I was like, no, it's together. He's like, no, I'm here for you. And I just remember thinking, what actor? That's an awesome, amazing actor. But all of them were up here. All of them.
He had the right spirit for the show. He has a very open heart and a very childlike soul. Not at all childish. Yes, very tender.
And Ilana, you got to torment him.
I remember a line that always worked for me, and I was surprised that it did, was, you fascinate me. I would just say to him, like he would do some crazy abusive thing to Lucy because she would not leave him alone. He was not interested at all. He wanted to play Beethoven. That was it. And I would like lie on the piano like I was in the Fabulous Baker Boys and literally like do everything I could to get him to notice me. And he would just play the piano as hard as he could to get me to fall off the piano, I guess. I'm just so sad he's not here tonight. He's working and he's an extraordinary person, and I feel like I'm missing an arm tonight.
Well, I do have a little surprise. He did record a video for everyone. So why don't we see this message now?
Hey guys, it's V, Stanley Wayne Mathis, aka Schroeder from Your Good Man Charlie Brown. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you tomorrow, but I am in rehearsal between two projects that I'm working on, and I just got back from Cincinnati working out of town for a couple of months, and I have hit the ground running. But I did want to check in and say happy 20th anniversary. I can't believe that 20 years have gone by. Maybe 10, but 20? Wow, that's extraordinary. But I must say that the show still resonates even with new generations, and people are still using the songs for their recitals and school projects and competitions. It amazes me the life that this show has had after 20 years. But I just want to say that I love you guys, cast and crew, all of you, and we had a great time, and congratulations on 20 years. 20 years. You're a good man, Charlie. Take care. Love you.
This still looks good, too. The other person we're missing is Jerry Mitchell, who couldn't make it today, and obviously he is an amazing choreographer. We talked a little bit about My Blanket and Me. What was the experience of coming up with the moves of that number?
Oh my gosh. Well, like Ilana said, we did a lot of out of town, and we worked and reworked a lot of particular parts of the show. And this number, as I recall, even just reteching was a big part of that process.
We had the magic the flying blanket.
Yes.
That was
it was supposed to be magic.
Yeah.
But no, it was, and that was constantly being relit and redone. And then there was a whole kind of group dance that we had 1,000 different versions of.
Oh, she remembers.
Yes. High impact cardio. Everybody had a blanket. Do we have stills? Are there pictures or anything? No.
On their phones.
You got Google. At what point did the new songs come in?
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
I don't know why.
Well, when I asked Andrew Lippa to sort of create rethink the score, I had 2 agendas. One was to give Sally a song, and I found 2 different strips. One was when Sally was so angry at her school, and then it fell apart. And so she's sitting there with the bricks of the school, and she felt totally guilty because she wanted the school to fall apart because she was not getting great grades, and it did. Like, it spontaneously combusted or something, and so she freaked out. I thought that could be an interesting song. And the other was what became my new philosophy, which was the series of her coming up with all these different philosophies. And Andrew took that. That was the first new song to go in. And then I think that went in while we were in New York. That was before it was Skokie. Wasn't it?
Skokie. Wasn't it Skokie?
I don't know. No, it was very. No. The Mayan philosophy was pretty early. I mean, I think Tony night.
She sang it, and then she won the Tony. That was good timing.
That one was the earliest.
Felt like we tested
It was
it out.
in Detroit. We did. Detroit is when we
The opening number?
did opening number.
Or bus.
The bus, yeah.
The
Get on the bus, tell her
opening
not to
number.
tell her.
Yes, I love that.
That was the middle of the night.
Yes, that was the
we
middle
had
of
a
the night.
meeting at 11 o'clock at
Yeah.
night, and Mark
In the
Michael
bar.
said, tomorrow something's going to happen.
Right.
You're not going to like it, but it's a lot of work.
Someone's
Then we
going
were
home.
No. Well, we always thought that.
Yeah,
Always.
it's a new musical. No one went
Right,
home, no.
yeah,
We all got to
that's right.
stay.
No, but Andrew was working on this arrangement.
Yeah, he was in the middle of the night.
It was very, very kind of Mickey and Judy.
The whole thing was that way. And then Wilmington was Beethoven Day.
Beethoven Day.
And no taxes. You could shop and there were no taxes.
Oh, that's true.
Right, do you remember that?
That's the
That's
most-
all we did.
Delaware.
That's where I met Melissa and Ellie.
And
The
then
head of Broadwaycon. Is she here? Yes, you took us shopping for groceries.
Thank you.
Yes, and then she started Broadwaycon. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I'm sorry, but that was true.
They did.
She was in medical school, I think, at the time.
pre-med.
She's gonna be a doctor.
We're glad you did what you did.
Well, Kristin, obviously, my new philosophy became a huge moment for you in the show. What was it like when you first heard the song?
Because I had read every strip that Sally had, every one. I had stacks and stacks, and I related to her. I don't know what that says about me, but just frustration and coat hanger sculpture and just getting a C and, the teacher and then Charlie Brown who just seemed to, her big brother who seemed everything to go easy for him. And I'm a little sister. Yeah, I just thought, Charlie always gets his way. I looked at it kind of how Ilana looked at Lacey. I was a little sister myself. And that's your big brother, Linus, he had his blanket, and I kind of wanted that too, and him. So, and then there's a girl and her dog, so I felt like my new philosophy really captured the whole character all in one song. The frustration, the happiness, I like it, I can't stand it, just all of it, And it's a little bipolar, I think she probably grew up to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a gift, and I'll always be grateful for it because it really helped me find who she was. And Roger and I, we were just, a lot of times it was Sally and her dog, and we were left to our own devices, much to Michael's, I think, delight. But, book report, and, we just said, what if we did, Mission Impossible, and we did all this music. It wasn't necessarily clear, but we did it anyway. And we just had fun, and it was an experience that only us up here only us know what it was like. It was extremely special, and it will never be repeated, at least in my life. There's been other great ones, but it will never be repeated in that way with these people. So.
Well, it was 1999, and we forget because now we can look at everything on the internet at all the times. But at that time, a lot of us who didn't have access to see Broadway all the time didn't have a huge outlet to watch performances, and it really was the Rosie O'Donnell show where we could see these sorts of things. She was such a champion of Broadway and of this show and of you, Kristin. And I remember your performance of My New Philosophy on the Rosie O'Donnell show like it was yesterday. And that song has become something that I've seen girls all around the world do constantly. So it's amazing that you kind of started that huge legacy.
So honored. I think all of us, when we see anybody do anything that we've done, it really touches your soul. And not long ago, somebody sent me a girl in a dance video, like a dance moms, but she was like 5'11", and she was doing it, and I thought, yeah, man, I like that. It doesn't matter your size if you capture the spirit of a part.
Kristin used to say in real life, "God, man," and then that entered the script. There were ways in which you were really able to insert. Were you like kind of channeling? Was it your niece? There were different people in your life that were
my niece,
inspiration.
I can't remember that. I would saw her point, like she was 5, and she would go, no, but her point would go off to the side. And so I thought, definitely Sally, and almost like it was no, but I can't stand it. She did that too, so I did copy. I went to the park and watched a lot of kids, and not in a pedophile way.
I was going to let you walk on that.
Anyway.
That's the thing that's going to go viral of everything we said today. It's going to be like hashtag.
But mainly I had great partners, and I think we feel the same about each other, and we had each other to play with. So it's just fun as we get to go in a room and not be afraid to fail, but fail, succeed, fail, play, and that it's led by our director.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like Michael would come and just laugh the hardest of everyone, months and months into the run, and it was like, that's an extraordinary thing. And I just have to add, like, Kristin warmed me up every night. She would sit at the piano with me. I mean, I really had never done a musical, and I did not know how to warm. I didn't know anything. And she warmed me up every night. It's her fault. Whatever you're hearing, it's her fault on the cast recording. But like that kind of generosity, I think, was for me insanely moving to have a friend kind of take me through it in that way. And
when I won the Tony and when Roger won the Tony, every one of I remember hearing my name, and BD kind of helped walk me through everything that whole season, and every single one of them went, they screamed for me so loud, and they screamed for Roger, and I'll never forget it. It'll never be that way. I mean, it's just, they scream. Y'all scream for joy.
we're screamers.
That was such a bittersweet night because they had this incredible, joyful, triumphant moment, and then the show, we had been told before the broadcast that if the show didn't win the revival, that we were going to close the next week. So it was just like this, all these highs and lows. We performed on the telecast, and it was this great thing, and then that happened, but then we had this incredible final week of like, the audiences that final week where it was like rock concert kind of thing, like, if only they'd been here all these months. I mean, it was like one of those things.
That's what happened.
When it closed, you took home the blanket. Did anyone else steal anything from that?
My saddle shoes.
You have your saddle shoes?
Lucy shoes, yes.
I got my dish. And a hat that I shouldn't have. Sorry.
Did you say that?
It's a really nice hat, and it was quietly given to me by Bart.
Still in there. I took my coat hanger sculpture. The coat hanger sculpture.
They wouldn't let us have our costumes because they thought it might go on tour. So I remember they were like, they're somewhere. If anyone knows where they are.
Michael Grass should know where they are.
Yeah.
I bet they still fit. They look free and comfy.
They were very comfy, yeah.
Anthony, what did you take?
I don't think that's. I have other like tchotchkes and things that were like opening night gifts. Like I have a lunch box that has the squiggle on it, like the color of the Charlie Brown. You know, I have lots of other pictures and lots of things from my dressing room. You know.
That's because you're so good. Is Anthony like, I'm sorry, unless someone offers this to me, I would never. Right? I mean, it's a Midwestern quality, but it's also like so you. You're the most honest, beautiful human being on the planet.
All right, well, applause for that.
So good.
Kristin, you didn't take your wig?
No, I left her behind.
Did she
There
have
was
a
just
name?
one girl that went, you know, I miss her though.
There were times I'd look at you on stage and your wig was so insane.
I told him, I said, can I just be one girl that goes, when she goes, and he did. That wig designer, and the girl went right back like a singing, like a, what are those things called? A slinky, yeah.
Frankie curl.
You know, my favorite moment of the show is when you all get together at the end and sing Happiness. It's one of the most beautiful songs. It's incredibly touching, and you sang it a lot. So I wanted to play a little game with y'all and see how well you remembered the lyrics to Happiness. Not easy. It should be simple. So I'm going to name something, and you just tell me whether this is happiness or not happiness. Okay? Pretty simple. So we'll start with one. What about knowing a secret? Happiness. Okay. What about pizza with sausage?
Yes.
Yes.
Warm apple pie?
No.
Happiness.
Not happiness. I mean, that's pretty I love warm apple pie.
Charles Schulz did not.
He did not. No.
Or Clark Gessner.
What about skipping to school?
No.
No.
Having a sister?
Yes.
Sharing a sandwich?
Yes.
Getting tucked into bed before...
No.
That's really not good. All right.
Challenge me. Come on.
Okay, all right. Two kinds of ice cream.
Yes.
Finding a penny.
No.
Close. What's the real one?
Finding
Pencil.
All right, well, that's pretty good.
Finding a little redheaded girl's chewed up pencil, which is the thing that gave Charlie Brown hope. And may I say that the other thing about happiness is at the very end of the show, every night, Ilana Levine extended her hand to me. Ilana Levine as Lucy, and said, "You're a good man, Charlie Brown." And I got to experience the beautiful soul of this woman night after night, but especially like the last night, it was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do is say goodbye to that relationship. And,
We're all crying.
It's actually still kind of painful, huh? It's like sad. It was really sad. It was beautiful. I mean, the way it ended and everything. I have pictures of us on the stage with the roses. People threw roses. Remember? And it was really beautiful and really a nice way to go out. But we were very sad.
Do you remember what you did that night? Did you guys all go out?
You got so wasted.
The Peanuts characters.
Shots.
Jägermeister!
Fireball.
I mean, you know, believe me, like, we've all been veterans, a lot of shows, like, there really was something that we believed in so strongly, and we were like this little show that we were really trying to make it work in terms of a commercial, because it was working so beautifully, and just, we were like fighting some battle. So finally at that end, when it seemed like, oh yes, people are really, really getting and responding, and then it was just too late, it was rip your heart out kind of sad moment, but it was also really celebratory, so both.
Well, you talked about the theme of hope that is so important to the show. What other themes did you guys take away as people from doing this?
Well, I mean, I was surprised by, I always thought of Charlie as being kind of a down in the dumps guy, which he is, you could say, but I was also, what I kept learning from doing the show is how incredibly resilient he is. No matter what, he continues to try. And that's like, I don't know that I have that resiliency all the time. So I feel like that was one of the things that I tried to take with me is, no like he's beaten down again and again and still tries every time. So I think that's an incredible thing to try to hold on to.
I told Anthony this morning we did a panel together that in my recollection the first song we recorded when we did the cast album was the Kite song at like 7 a.m. And that song, I mean, there's one incredible song after another on that cast recording, and if you haven't heard it yet, you guys, it really is worth your while for these people. But the Kite song is Charlie Brown, like no matter what. And then for a second it's up in the air, like for one beautiful "You're a Good Man" Charlie Brown moment, and then it's back down and he's right there the next day. And it's really a beautiful song that is all-encompassing of like who that young man is, who we all are.
Yeah. What about you, Roger? Anything that you took home from the show?
The bowl.
Besides the bowl, no, like emotionally.
I think this would be such an interesting little fella. Not really that loving. But they warmed my heart every day in such a way that was so gracious.
I apologize.
Back then. But I think that this show, every 2 hours was over, and
Well, I don't know.
you have to feel
Yeah.
the incredible amount of love coming from each of the people in the cast that they brought to these characters. So I would just sort of say gratitude and love and fantasy, because obviously Charles Schulz and Clark Gessner so well put in this character a sense of, tripping out every once in a while and having a blast with it. And usually, as I love to, all characters that are this way are ending with slight humiliation, which most of these, I think Schulz probably felt a lot of that way about life, that he was humiliated a lot, as you can see thematically through the show. And for me, also, it was my introduction to newspapers as a kid and time with my dad. So seeing those comic strips, so it was really fun to be. Once I got over the fact that I had to talk, I really loved that feeling that my dad and I had when I first opened up a newspaper. My job was to find the comics and the Ninas and the Roosevelts.
I felt the exact same way. Wow. Did anyone else have those connections to the Peanuts character?
Definitely, yeah. Growing up, that's what you would. When you're a kid, you read the comics.
Yeah.
And I grew up in D.C. and the Washington Post always had tons of comics. And Peanuts was the one that, from a very early age, I could relate to. And it continues on and on. And I think Charles Schulz, Sparky, as he was known, was, we know for sure, he was actually a very depressed and anxious person. But he managed to somehow fuel the world of Peanuts with this resilience and this kind of wisdom, like an eerily mature wisdom that these kids have, these 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and that was really inspiring always to me, to watch them embody this incredible company, embody that spirit so beautifully.
Can I just compliment BD?
Yeah, sure, please. Yes.
Do you guys
Take over,
know
Lucy.
the character of Linus well? And do you know what he does in the show?
How many of you out there were in this show before? Yeah, they're pretty familiar.
So, the decision was made that adults would play these characters, right? The way Be More Chill now, it's teens being played by adults. In You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, we were, younger than we are now, but we were in our 20s or
I was 12, so.
So the challenge is, how do you do these parts where you're not mimicking little kids and really straddling these two worlds of these very deep philosophical themes in kind of children costumes and all this stuff. And so Linus is a deep thinker and a philosopher. And I always thought that the thing that BD did with such depth and integrity is there was zero cynicism. to the lioness that he portrayed. He filled these long monologues and passages and worked on it in a way, because everything BD does, he has this way of finding, how can I be most respectful of this character? And the deepest version of this character, and I would watch you every night, whether it was in the book report or even in the, I'm going to be Queen when I grow up scene, and all these things we did together, and everything you've done since. And you are such a hero to me as a human and an actor, because everything you do, BD Wong, is just integrity first, and it blows me away, and I love you, and we all love you. And you could not say that about yourself, but I can say that about you.
There's one other example of BD's incredible ingenuity. We did a Easter bonnet competition, and I don't know if you guys remember the Charlie Brown Christmas tree and the message when Linus says, spotlight please, he goes down, he talks about the meaning of Christmas, and it's such a beautiful, I remember it so well, and he wrote the Easter bonnet, and we had a terrible bonnet, and we kind of did the best we could, and Linus said, lights please, and and then he stepped down stage, and he wrote this speech about how important Broadway cares is equity fights AIDS, and it was, I'm still pissed it didn't win. Because it was so ingenious, it was so beautiful. Do you remember? It was so
and then
beautiful.
you sang to Reba McEntire the other night at the Kennedy Center, and her show won the Tony earlier, and I'm so mad at you about that.
I'm sorry. Again, I just also want to say too, like, don't y'all kind of think, don't y'all kind of think that BD was as far as our cast goes, like, our kind of like leader in a way? Anthony was too, because he was our Charlie, but BD, and with all due, had and butterfly experiences that, once in a lifetime actors have, and I can remember him just saying to me, Chris, don't forget to have fun. And so that's the thing I took, is like, sometimes I can get myself wound up like Sally, like, but I then go, all right, Chris, don't forget to have fun.
Well, we certainly didn't forget that you guys were having fun the entire time we were watching. It really is, I do recommend you go see it in the library, because it really is filled with such joy. I want to catch people up on what you guys have been up to, what projects that are coming up. So, Michael, I know that you have Burn This coming up, right?
Yeah, we start. Adam Driver and Kerry Russell.
I've heard of who?
Yeah.
What?
And we start performances March 15th at the Hudson on 44th.
And you just had another show there at the Hudson, and I absolutely
Yes, we have another closing, head over heels, just to end it.
Really one of my favorite shows this season. Thank you so much for that. You brought such joy to that whole show. It was wonderful. You are currently, everyone is obsessed with your movie. I don't know if you guys have saw this. Either Bird Box. It's going pretty well. No pun intended here, but did you see that coming?
I was really proud to be in it. I liked the project, and nobody saw it coming. We liked it, and you can kind of tell by when movies come out who participates in the press and stuff like that, and you could tell that people liked it, and I think the actors liked it. But it was very shocking. I don't think I'll ever experience anything quite the same as that. Just the amount of people that have seen it, and the way that they saw it, and the way they kind of went off and did all that other stuff with it, the social media and everything. Yeah.
Have you been looking at the memes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's wonderful. I think it's great. I always like the Charlie Brown kind of trip, the way the popular culture affects the people, the fans and everything. And when a project kind of catches the attention or the hearts of people, it's great. The movie didn't get tremendous reviews, but the people have spoken. It's the kind of thing that's really amazing to see. And I was very proud of it, and I loved doing it. I thought it was really a blast.
Do you ever, sorry, I just have to ask, do you ever watch Law & Order reruns? I do. Do you, Kristin? I watch them all the time.
No.
No, never?
My mother watches all of them. So my mother is hilarious about it because I'll be sitting with my mom at home when I'm visiting her, and she'll put it on, and I'll say, what is this one, Mom? She'll say, oh yeah, you're not in this one. or she'll say, oh no, you're in this one. This is the one where, and then she'll just say what it is.
Oh, what
she'll
it is.
know. Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's just
I
incredible.
also would just like to plug right now, if there's anything I can do to help make a Father of the Bride Part 3 happen.
What exactly would that be?
Maybe her daughter's getting married. I don't know. I don't write scripts.
Yes. It would be great though.
Roger, you're also over on Netflix right now in a series of unfortunate events. What's that project like? What was that project like?
Oh my God, that was a dream come true. It was 3 hours in makeup. Or this is a wig. But it was really, really fun. I played Vice Principal Nero, who has mandatory concert recitals, and it was Barry Sonnenfeld, and he's fantastic, and Neil Patrick Harris, who I just love. So it was pretty dreamy. And I'm also on this really funny, well, it's not funny, but it's a show called Good Trouble, which is on Freeform. It's really cool, and that's a spin-off of The Fosters, and so I play a judge on that one, and I'm never funny.
And if they called for a Desperate Housewives revival?
No, not that I've heard. I almost got in a car accident with Marcia Cross recently. I thought that was
Really?
amazing. Yeah, she never saw me, but I secretly thought it was amazing.
I would watch that.
In different cars?
We weren't working. I just cut her off in Santa Monica.
She didn't know it was you.
No, she laid on the horn and didn't know it was me. I thought it was so amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like a private thing. Like she was like, you. And I was like, what to say? Oh my God, it's George. So funny. I love that.
Anthony, obviously, I know the Broadwaycon group has been seeing you a lot this weekend, but you're also busy with Star Trek.
Our season 2 premiere on Thursday here in New York City.
Wow.
Premiere event here in New York.
Broadwaycon or Comic-Con? Which is better for you?
No, I mean it's no content. It's really no. I'm not just saying 'cause I'm in this room, but Broadwaycon.
Broadwaycon.
Yeah, I mean Comic-Con's cool, but it's like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
This is family community. We don't get to these kinds of events at Comic-Con at all. But yeah, that's it.
And you were talking earlier about Rent Live, and the amazing people who will be a part of it. You'll be watching?
Yes, I'll be watching.
You having a party at your house? We can't remember.
Maybe.
Great, we're all in.
No, but I'm watching with great hope. You know, Julie Larson, Jonathan's sister, is one of the producers. Michael Bright is directing it.
Yeah.
So I'm really, I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. I want to ask you just about. I was reading through your past Broadway credits, and I did not realize that you started Last Night at Ballyhoo with the Broadway debut of this actor who's kind of come on to do some other things, Paul Rudd.
I remember being very worried about Paul Rudd.
What?
But what was gonna know? I mean, he's the funniest person ever.
So funny.
And an incredible actor, yes. And I have a podcast now
Yes.
called Little Known Facts that I'm doing, which is like the Bird Box of podcasts.
It sure is.
It's just gone crazy. Gone viral. Everyone here has listened to Little Known Facts of the Love Me, right? But everyone here has been on that podcast, and they were my first guests, and that's why the podcast took off. I'm not kidding. And it's just another testament to their loyalty and love that they sort of set me up on this thing in the way that they have. And I believe we are recording this very conversation to publish it on my podcast, so every one of you is now on Little Known Facts. So thank you for that. And Paul Rudd.
And Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Kristin, you recently celebrated another anniversary. We all got to watch that go down on Wicked 15. It was so good. I was in the room. It was amazing. But I'm also curious. I know you do such amazing work for your camp programs, and I was wondering if you could tell everybody about that, because it is so wonderful.
Thank you for asking. About 10 years ago, I grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and we never, you're the ones. We never had a performing arts center, you know, ever. We had like Sonic, and that was it. Someone died, left us a lot of money. I'm saying this wrong. I'm so glad they died because we would never have a chance. And you're coming to teach. Anyway, y'all are all coming. Anyway, 7 years ago they told me they were going to name it the Chenoweth, the Kristin Chenoweth Theater, the theater, and I said, no, I'm not old enough. And they said, yeah, you are. And so what I've done is I've seen how other people, Anthony being one, Ilana, Roger, Edie, Michael, leave their legacy and how I want to do it. And so we have major acts come in like Vince Gill and Carol Burnett, and we have shows like Charlie Brown and Wicked and Rent and all these great ones, and My Fair Lady. Anyway, no, I love it. I love My Fair Lady.
I'm telling Laura.
I'm just teasing. Anyway, you know what? You have to have the My Fair Ladies come in so that you can have theater in the Starcatcher. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So anyway, we started 5 years ago, Broadway Boot Camp, and if anybody wants to audition between 12 and 18, please submit, go to Kristin Chenoweth Performing Arts Center or the Broadway Kristin Chenoweth Arts and Education Fund and submit your videos. We pick 40. Last year we had over 1,000 kids audition, and what you do is I bring in a lot of my way more famous and talented people than me come in and teach, and for a week, and we do singing, acting, and dancing, and many other type classes like improv and writing. I'm going to start integrating the writing aspect, and we put on a show, and I'll be taking those submissions, and I'll be making each one of them come at some point and teach, and it is something I'm extremely proud of, and I hope that y'all check it out. I'm growing it, and it's getting bigger and better, much like Broadwaycon, and I hope you check it out.
Well, it definitely is part of your legacy, as is this show. And, you know, for somebody who saw it in 1999 and who remembers it very fondly, it has been an absolute joy to be here with all of you today. And thank you so much for the heart that you put into this and the heart that you put into that show and that cast recording, which we all listen to all the time. Last thoughts on the show?
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty sweet. I'm sure everybody can say something about it.
We wouldn't be all, I don't think we'd all be together if it hadn't been for this. So what a blessing.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.